Okay. So then 56 over 44, we're going to go ahead and put that in our calculator. 56 over 44, enter, and that gives us 14 over 11. And then the last one, this is the last way to show proportion, 72 over 120. So here we're just going to do 72 over 120, and that gives us 3 over 5. Um, 3 over 5. That's it. Okay. So then the next one says determine whether the fractions are proportional. So when they say to determine whether they're proportional, we're just going to check to see if they are equal. So we make a proportion. 4 over 6, is this equal to 12 over 16? Okay, so let's go ahead and check. We cross multiply, so 4 over 6, 24 times 16 gives us 64. And then we cross multiply 6 times 12. 6 times 12 gives us 72. So Stella was right. These are not equal, so they're not proportional. Okay. So I'm going to write here, not proportional. Proportional. Okay, so let's try the next one. We have 3 over 5. Is this equal to 6 over 10? So we cross multiply, 5 times 6, 30, 3 times 10, also 30. So yes, 30 equals 30. So we can say that these two fractions are I don't think I'm spelling this right. Should be PR, proportional. Alright, and the last one. So here we have 6 over 7 and 15 over 7.5. So 6 over 7, is this the same thing? Did I say something weird? So we multiply those two, 6 times 17.5. And that gives us 105. And then we're going to check, is this equal to 7 times 15? That gives us also 105. Okay. So then we can say that these two fractions are proportional. Proportional. Okay. Alright, so the next part, it says solve and find the missing value for the equivalent ratios. Okay. So they set up here, they say set up words. So there's 72 words. Somebody's able to finish it in 3 minutes. Okay. Here we want to find how many words they can finish in 1 minute. So this is like a proportion, okay? We have the equal to sign that we're just gonna draw in here. These are our fractions. So all we gotta do is cross multiply. So we multiply 3 times x, and that gives us 3x. And 72 times 1, that gives us 72. Okay. Remember, it doesn't matter if you write it this way or the other way around. 72 equals 3x. It means the exact same thing. Okay. So here, if we're trying to solve for x, how do we get rid of this 3 that's in the front? We divide it. Good. So we divide by 3. What we do to one side, we do to the other side. So these 3's cancel. X equals 72 divided by 3 gives us 24. Good. So that means that this person can read 24 words in 1 minute. Okay, so now this next one we have miles and hours. So we're going to set up a proportion. It's 62 over 48 equals 4x. So we're going to cross multiply. So 62 times x is 62x. 248 times 4 is a big number. I don't know. 990 what? 2. 992. And then to solve for x, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the 62. How do we get rid of the 62? Divide it. So we divide by 62. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So this cancels and we get x equals 992 divided by 62 gives us 16. Okay. So here this means that the 16 is the hours, right? So it's going to take them 16 hours to drive 248 miles. Alright, I want you guys to try I. Alright, so when we cross multiply this one, 6 times W is 6W, and 3 times 5 is 15. Okay. So this time when we divide, we don't get a really pretty number, we get a decimal, right? So I would just leave it as a reduced fraction. So this gives you 5/2, so I would leave it as 5/2. Alright, let's see. The next one here we have 2x over 7 equals 20 over -5. So we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. 2x times -5 gives us -10x. And then 7 times 20 gives us 140. So this is a little bit different because the x had a number in front of it. So all you got to do is just multiply the 2 times the -5. Then to solve for x, we're going to go ahead and divide by -10. Okay, here the two negatives make a positive, the two tens cancel, and we get x is equal to 14. Positive or negative? Negative. Negative. Okay, because the top is positive and the bottom is negative. The next one. So here, we're going to cross multiply. 3 times 14 gives us 42. And then this time when we multiply 7, there's an x and a 2 on this side. So we can't just multiply the 7 times the x. We also have to multiply the 7 times the 2. Okay, so you can't forget that part. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 2 gives us 14. And so now we're going to be solving an equation just the way that we've been doing. What do I get rid of first? If we're looking for x, do I get rid of the 7 first or the 14? The 14. Good. So we move the 14 by subtracting. Okay, this cancels, and 42 minus 17 gives us how much? 28. 42 minus 10 would give us 32. So away another 4, 28. Yeah. And then from there we have 7x that was left over on that side. And then we're going to have to divide both sides by 7 to solve for x. This cancels, and 28 divided by 7 gives us 4. I want you guys to try the next one on your own. Let's see if you guys can do it. Go ahead and try it out. Okay, so this time when we cross multiply, we multiply the 3 times the w minus 4. Now remember, we can't just multiply the 3 times the w, you also have to multiply it times the minus 4. Okay, so that means you need to distribute it to each one. 3 times w is 3w, and 3 times minus 4 is minus 4. Okay, so don't forget that part. Then when you cross multiply these two, you have to multiply the 5 not just times the w, you also have to multiply times the 6. So I saw some of you guys do a little bit of both. You forgot to multiply times both of them. So that gives us 5W plus 30. Okay, then from here we start solving for W. Now remember when there's two W's on both sides? Let's see. We're gonna first take this one and move it to the other side. So we're gonna subtract the 5W. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. This cancels, and this gives me negative 2W minus 12 equals 30. Then from there, I'm gonna move the 12 to the other side by adding. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. This cancels, negative 2W equals 42. And then our last step is to solve for W by getting rid of the negative 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. These 2's cancel, these negatives cancel. We get W equals negative 20. Alright, so now the word problem. So here it says, find the unit rate if a babysitter charges $57 for 6 hours. So when they're asking us to find the unit rate, they want us to find for only 1 hour. Okay, so here they charge $57 for a total of 6 hours. Okay, so we're going to do it over 6. Okay, this is the money on top, and on the bottom we have hours. Okay, so with these ones, we're going to have to set up our own proportion. When we set up our own proportion, we need to make sure that we keep it equal. So if we put the money on top, the money stays on top. And if we put the hours on bottom, the hours need to stay on bottom. Okay, so because we're finding the unit rate, we're only looking for 1 hour. Okay, and we're looking for the rate. The rate means how much money is it going to cost us. So we don't know how much it's going to cost us. So we're going to keep it as X. And then we're going to cross multiply. So we multiply 57 times 1 is 57. And then we multiply 6 times x is 6x. And then we just gotta solve for x. So what do we do to solve for x? Divide by 6 again. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So if we do 57 divided by 6, it gives us, now this one, it gives us 19 over 2. I am going to press on my calculator. If you press the control and then enter, it estimates it per decimal, okay? And the reason we're going to use a decimal for this one is because we're talking about money, and money we use decimals, right? This would give us $9.50. So this would give us 9. Okay. So then this means that the unit rate, the babysitter charges, babysitter charges $9.50 per hour. Okay, the next one says Lionel needs to buy cherries for dessert. Find the unit rate if the cherries cost $2 for 5 pounds. So the unit rate we want to know just for 1 pound. Okay. So here, they already set it up for us. We have 2 over 5. Okay. So 2 is going to be the money, and the 5 is going to be the pound. So make sure you guys label it like this. That way you guys don't make the mistake of setting it up incorrectly. Okay. We're looking for the unit rate, so that means that we're looking for 1 pound. Okay, how much is it going to cost us just for 1 pound? So we don't know the cost. We are going to put an X there. Okay. And then we go ahead and cross multiply. So 2 times 1 is 2 equals 5 times X is 5X. Then to solve for X, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the 5. So we are going to divide by 5. These 5's cancel, and then 2 over 5 gives us 2.4. Okay, so this means that, hi, good morning. Yes. Alright, so we got 0.4x. So what that means, because that's money, that means that for 1 pound of cherries, for 1 pound of cherries, it is going to cost us, it is 40 cents. So we can write it like this. Alright, the next one, it says Kayla takes 3 hours to deliver 189 newspapers on her paper route. Josue takes 11 hours to deliver 671 newspapers on his paper route. Which person delivers more newspapers per hour? Okay, so this one's gonna be a little bit different because we do have 2 different people. Okay, so we have Kayla, it takes her 3 hours. So I'm gonna put here 3 hours to deliver 189 newspapers. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you put on top, as long as you make sure that if you put hours on top, then when you do Josue, the 11 also needs to be on top. So when I put 3 here, and I'm solving, then when I do this one, I'm going to put 11 here and I'm going to solve. Okay, and then here we have 189 newspapers. I'm going to put NP for newspapers. Okay. So Kayla is able to deliver 189 newspapers, and Josue is able to deliver 671. So we're gonna see who delivers more newspapers faster, and it says here per hour. So we're looking for the hour, we're looking for 1 hour. How many newspapers can they deliver? Let's see for Josue. How many newspapers can you deliver in 1 hour? So here we are for an X. Alright, so let's see. Let's do this side of the classroom. You guys solve this proportion. And then that half of the classroom, you guys solve this proportion. I'll give you guys a few minutes. So this is Kayla. And this is Josue. So you guys are solving for Kayla, you guys are solving for Josue. Alright, did you guys get Kayla's rate? Not yet. What'd you guys get? X equals 63. So that means that she's delivering 63 newspapers every hour, per hour. What did you guys get for X here? 61, so that means that Josue is delivering 61 newspapers per hour. Who's delivering more newspapers in an hour? Kayla. So it says, which person delivers more newspapers per hour? Kayla. Alright, you guys can go ahead and go on your break. Alright, here, so in a recent survey, it says 2 out of 3 dentists chose cavity toothpaste for their patients. If 12 dentists chose cavity, how many were surveyed? Okay, let's read it slower. So it says in a recent survey, 2 out of 3 dentists chose cavity toothpaste for their patients. So it'll be 2 out of 3. Okay. The They kind of trick you a little bit because they do the 2 instead of using the number 2, they wrote the word 2. But here they put the number 3. So just be careful with that. And then it says further patients. Now it says if 12 dentists chose cavity, so that means these are the ones that chose cavity, and this is a total. Okay, total. So then here it says if 12 dentists chose cavity, that means that 12 chose cavity. It says how many did they survey? So how many total were there? Should have kept the colors the same. Sorry guys. So we're looking for the total here. So we're gonna go ahead and cross multiply. So 2 times x gives us 2x, and then 12 times 3 is 36. So then to solve for x, divide both sides by 2. What we did on one side, we have to do to the other side, and this gives us 18. So then it asks us, we go back and answer the question. It says, how many were surveyed? 18 dentists were surveyed. Alright, the next one says, Hershey Foods makes a batch of chocolate with 75 pounds of cocoa beans. If we know that the ratio of cocoa beans to milk is 5:4, how many gallons of milk will they use? Okay, so they give us the ratio. They say the ratio of cocoa beans to milk is 5:4. Okay, so then we're going to make a proportion. The top is for cocoa beans. I'm going to put CB. CB for cocoa beans. Okay, is 5. And then the milk, I'm going to put M for milk, is 4. And so then it is asking us how many gallons of milk will they use. So we're looking for the bottom, which is M. And then the top is going to be, it says 75 pounds of cocoa beans, so it's going to be 75. Alright, so we already set this up. Remember the 75 goes on top because it's the cocoa beans. And so when we cross multiply, 5 times M gives us 5M. 4 times 75 gives us, what times 75 gives us? 300. And then we solve for, we solve for M by dividing by 5. And what do we get? Okay, so then we go back to the question. How many gallons of milk will they use? So M is 60, so they will use 60 gallons of milk. Alright, let's look at the next one. It says, in the movie Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs and vehicles were scale models. The vehicle model was made to the scale of 1 to 18 inches, to 8 inches. The actual vehicle was about 14 feet long. What was the length of the model sport utility vehicle? Okay, so it says here, the vehicle model was made to the scale for every 1 inch, it is 18 inches. So 1 to 8. Okay, so this is a model, and this is the actual. The actual vehicle was, okay, sorry, I'm just making sure. And so our This is going to be the inches, I guess. And then this is going to be the feet, which is the actual. What is the length of the model sport utility vehicle? So it says the actual vehicle length was 14, so the 14 is going to go on the bottom. And then we're looking for this one. So the word is so weird. Alright, so we cross multiply, so we get 1 times 14 is 14. 8 times x is 8x. I feel like there's something weird. And then we divide both sides by 8. This cancels. 14 divided by 8 gives us what? 1.75? So 1.75 feet equals x. I don't like the way that one is worded. Alright, the last one. It says the ratio of boys to girls at Del Valle is 12 to 16. Okay. So for boys, that means there's 12. For every 12 boys, there are 16 girls. Then it says how many boys are there at Del Valle? So since we're looking for the boys, this is going to be x. If there are 2,000 students. Oh man. We're going to have to fix this. Because it says there are 2,000 students, so they're giving us 2,000. They don't tell us how many girls there are, right? So I'm going to put here the total is going to be 2,000. Total. Okay. So if for every 12 boys, there's 16 girls, how many total is that? For every 12 boys, there's 16 girls, right? What's the total? 28, right? Because 12 plus 16 gives you 28. So that's the total. And the reason that we have to use the total and not the girls is because right here, they gave us 2,000 students. They gave us the total students. So down here, instead of using girls, which I thought we were going to use, but I didn't finish reading up the problem, it's going to be total, and it'll be 12 plus 16, which we said was 28. So I'm going to rewrite this 12 over 28 equals x over 2,000. Okay, so then we cross multiply. 12 times 2,000 is going to give us 24,000. And then 28 times x gives us 28x. And to solve for x, we divide by 28. Okay, so these 28's cancel. 24,000 divided by 28. Somebody do that for me, please. How much? 3,000. So that means there's 3,000 boys. Wait. It's not 3,000. It's 3,000. How much? 857. Okay, so 24,000 divided by 28 is 857. Yeah, I was like, that number is too big because it said it was 2,000 students, so I was like, there's no way that makes sense. So 857 boys at the light.